20 years ago, the West saw China's military as decades behind, regional, not global. Today, that's no longer true. China has the world's largest navy, advanced missiles that can strike carriers from thousands of kilometers, and a strategy designed to keep Western forces out of Asia. For decades, the United States dominated oceans and skies without challenge. Now the question is, why are Western leaders suddenly worried about China's military?
For decades, Western analysts believed that China's military lagged far behind the West. But over the last 20 years, China has quietly transformed its navy into the largest in the world by number of ships. As of 2026, China operates over 360 warships, surpassing the United States fleet, which has around 296 deployable naval vessels. This includes 140 destroyers, frigates, and corvettes, plus 80 submarines, some of which are nuclear-powered. The goal isn't just numbers. China's naval expansion focuses on regional dominance, particularly in the South China Sea and the East China Sea. China's Type 055 destroyers, each with 112 vertical launch system cells, can strike air, land, and sea targets hundreds of kilometers away. Meanwhile, its Type 094 nuclear submarines give China a secure second strike capability, ensuring its nuclear deterrent can survive even if Western forces strike first. But perhaps the most striking fact, China's Navy is growing twice as fast as the U.S. Navy, with over 20 new warships commissioned in 2025 alone. Analysts say this pace is unprecedented in modern naval history. This rapid expansion is why Western military leaders, from the U.S. Navy's Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Michael Gilday to NATO strategists, have warned that China is now capable of challenging U.S. naval dominance in the Asia-Pacific, something few imagined even a decade ago.
While the United States relied on aircraft carriers to project power, China has focused on missile technology that can threaten Western assets from thousands of kilometers away. China now has over 1,250 ground-based ballistic missiles, including DF-21D carrier killer missiles and the DF-26 Guam killer missiles, which can target U.S. bases in the Pacific. But it doesn't stop there. China is rapidly developing hypersonic weapons, like the DF-17, capable of traveling over 5,000 kilometers at Mach 5+ speeds, maneuvering unpredictably and evading modern missile defense systems. In the air, China's J-20 stealth fighters give it a regional air dominance advantage, while its Y-20 transport aircraft allow rapid deployment of troops and equipment across Asia. Even space is now a battlefield. China's satellite killer weapons and anti-satellite lasers can target enemy reconnaissance satellites, blinding Western early warning systems in a crisis. Analysts like Admiral Philip Davidson have repeatedly warned that these missile and advanced tech capabilities force the U.S. and its allies to rethink decades of strategic assumptions. In short, China is building a multi-domain force designed not to fight a global war across oceans, but to dominate Asia while keeping Western forces at a distance. And that's why the West is suddenly paying attention. The key to understanding why the West is suddenly afraid of China's military isn't just ships or missiles, it's strategy. China's military doctrine focuses on anti-access area denial, or A2AD, designed to keep Western forces far from its backyard. In practice, this means China has layered missiles, submarines, air defenses, and electronic warfare systems across the South China Sea, the East China Sea, and around Taiwan. The carrier killer DF-21D and DF-26 missiles target U.S. Navy aircraft carriers, while mobile coastal defense missile batteries along the Chinese coast can strike ships across hundreds of miles. China also deploys anti-ship cruise missiles and submarines equipped with torpedoes and cruise missiles, creating overlapping layers that make it extremely costly for the U.S. or its allies to operate close to China. Air defenses like the HQ-9 missile system and electronic warfare units make it difficult for Western aircraft to operate freely. Even drones and cyber capabilities add a hidden layer of disruption. According to Admiral John Aquilino, these combined capabilities create a bubble of control where Western forces can be detected, targeted, and denied freedom of movement before they even get close. In short, China isn't trying to conquer the world. It's building a fortress for Asia that Western militaries struggle to penetrate. That is the real reason why the West is suddenly cautious and reassessing decades of assumptions. What makes China's A2AD strategy truly dangerous isn't just numbers, it's technology. China is rapidly developing weapons and systems that multiply the effectiveness of every ship, plane, and missile. Hypersonic weapons. The DF-17 hypersonic glide vehicle can travel over Mach 5 and maneuver unpredictably, evading current missile defenses. These weapons can target ships, bases, and infrastructure with near-impossible interception rates. AI-driven warfare. China is integrating AI into targeting, reconnaissance, and autonomous drones, allowing faster and more precise strikes. The PLA's intelligentized warfare concept aims to make decisions faster than human adversaries. Space capabilities. China's satellite network, including the Beidou system, provides navigation, communication, and targeting for its forces independent of Western satellites. Anti-satellite weapons and lasers give China the ability to blind enemy reconnaissance in a crisis. Electronic and cyber warfare. China can jam communications, hack military networks, and disrupt sensors, further reducing the effectiveness of Western forces in its sphere. The combination of hypersonics, AI, cyber, and space capabilities means Western militaries can no longer rely on traditional numerical or technological advantages. Even with superior carriers, jets, and satellites, the West could face a situation where China's forces detect, strike, and evade before Western forces can respond. This technological edge is why generals from the United States and NATO strategists are increasingly alarmed, and why analysts say the balance of power in Asia could shift faster than anyone expected. China's military expansion is not about global conquest, it's about regional dominance and strategic leverage. Under the leadership of Xi Jinping, the People's Liberation Army aims to become a world-class force by 2049, capable of deterring or defeating any rival in Asia while protecting China's interests globally. Key goals include securing the South China Sea and Taiwan Strait to control trade and strategic choke points, protecting China's Belt and Road investments across Asia, Africa, and Europe, establishing space and cyber dominance to neutralize Western intelligence advantages. The implications for the West are profound. Analysts at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, and military leaders in the U.S. warn that traditional Western assumptions, air superiority, naval dominance, and uncontested satellite surveillance may no longer hold. This is why Western countries are suddenly investing heavily in hypersonic defenses, advanced missile systems, and AI-driven military tech. They are reacting not to a hypothetical future threat, but to a rapidly evolving military reality. In short, China's rise is strategic, calculated, and backed by technology and numbers. And for the first time in decades, the West is seriously reassessing its military supremacy, because the gap that once seemed unbridgeable is narrowing faster than anyone imagined. For decades, the West assumed its military dominance was unchallenged, but the rise of China is forcing strategists in the United States and across the world to rethink that assumption. Whether this rivalry leads to cooperation or confrontation remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the balance of global power is shifting, and the real question is, how will the West respond? If you found this breakdown insightful, subscribe for more deep dives into global power, geopolitics, and the forces shaping our future.